The Animal Matters Commission was established and is conducted in accordance with Article 12 of the Anne Arundel County Code. These are administrative hearings, and by nature, they are informal, which means you are not hampered by rules of evidence. However, please be aware that you are still testifying under oath. Each party will have their opportunity to state their case. After each party states their case, they will have an opportunity to ask questions of the other party. Please do not interrupt the other party. You will be given ample time to talk. In many cases, we are aware there's a history. You may briefly tell the commission about the history, but please focus on the issue at hand. After each case, the commission will have open deliberations. During these deliberations, the public may not participate. If the commissioners have an additional question, you may answer that question. No further information will be heard and a decision will be rendered. This decision is a recommendation to the Director of Animal Services or their representative. The recommendation of the commission will be taken into consideration and a final decision will be made by the Director of Animal Services or their designated representative. If, as the defendant in the case, you are unhappy with the decision of the commission, you may appeal. For citation cases, appeals are made through the District Court of Maryland. For administrative orders like potentially dangerous, or vicious order, appeals are made through the County Board of Appeals. Be advised that when we are discussing cruelty cases, the commission is not voting to return the animals to the owner right away. If the commission votes for the owner to have the animals back, they will have to wait until their district court cases are adjudicated. Autumn, please call the first case.
If you are a party in the Anne Arundel County Department of Animal Services versus Augustine, please use the raise hand function at this time. 090. I will turn it over to the commission.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Officer Herbert, will you start us out, please, by explaining the PDO?
Yes, good morning, everyone. It was reported to Anne Arundel County Animal Services that on February 18th, 2025, your dog Pierce, a neutered male, tan and white, pit bull type dog, while running at large, was involved in a severe human exposure to Leslie Kirby. During this incident, Pierce was in violation of Anne Arundel County Code 12-4-402, 1, 2, 4, and 6, as well as 905, animals running at large. I actually responded to the Augustine's address on February 22nd to get statements, look at the house, see what the setup was as far as containing the dog. They live on a cul-de-sac court, so the houses are very, very close together. There's no physical barrier between the two houses, but I believe that Miss Kirby's parents, this is where it happened, they have an electric fence for their little dogs. This case took a while for the investigation. Initially, I was going to issue a warning letter, which was typed on February 26th, but upon further investigation, affidavits of complaint that were submitted, a potentially dangerous order was issued August 4th, and the owner, Mr. Augustine, and his family have complied with the order in its entirety. The dog is licensed. He is at home, and there's been no further instances nor priors up until this February 18th incident. So that's where we're at. And the Augustines are actually appealing 3 items. Number 3, which is the fencing. Number 4, the muzzle. And number 9, the secondary barriers within the home. They're using the back deck, which is 8 feet off the ground with locked gates as his exterior fencing. And as I said, they have secondary barriers as far as inside the home, meaning doors, physical doors, upstairs, downstairs. So there's no way he can get out of the house without being leashed or on the back deck. So that's where we're at.
Thank you. Do any of the commission members have any questions for Officer Herbert? Yes, sir.
Yeah, we were sent that he's appealing 2, 4, and 9, so he is not appealing section 2 of the PDO.
Correct.
Okay. So it's 3, 4, and 9. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Officer Herbert? In that case, Mr. Augustine, if you want to go ahead and tell us how you are complying and the reasons for not having the harness, coupler, or muzzle.
Sure. And just real quick, mic check. You can hear me, correct?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. I was going to go through each one, if that's fine. I just drafted some things here to get just to walk through. First, want to thank you for just hearing my appeal today. Just as Officer Herbert said, this happened on February 18th, where Pierce ran off the property during playing outside, accidentally scratched the neighbor's face with his paws. No bite occurred, as evidenced by the photos and the blank incident reports. I fully complied with the other PDO conditions and implemented effective changes like constant supervision, secured raised deck. But I feel that items 3, 4, and 9 go beyond what's needed to protect the public under Section 12.443, which calls for tailored abatement. With no further incidents in over 7 months, I am asking to lift these for fairness and proportionality. So for argument against item number 3, with the full property fencing, which would include like a 6-foot stockade fence, automatic gates, padlocks, and so forth. This was a one-time runaway. Like right when I say off the property, we have a shared yard. So they were playing outside. There was a few dogs outside playing. Pierce was excited, ran across the yard. Has no prior escapes or aggression in 5 years. There was no growling, barking, anything happened during this time this incident occurred. The injuries, just for awareness, they're linear lacerations from paws, no teeth, which is consistent with the accidental contact. No bite or aggression, medical discharge labels it a dog bite, but animal bite report is blank on the details with no puncture wounds. Also want to say that I have my 15 by 30 foot raised deck. It's 8 feet off the ground. It's enclosed. We keep the dog leashed in supervision. We crate the dog to prevent any access. When we're not home, we crate the dog, which is aligns with the PDO, having kennel standards. I feel that full fencing is unnecessary and costly and exceeds the abatement needs under the code. I've provided photos of the deck, and also, as Officer Herbert said, she came and looked at the deck and she saw what we have in place. So I'm asking for item 3 to be waived and approve my deck as the secure equivalent instead of having to get any type of fencing around the yard. So that was number 3. Number 4, for the non-retractable leap harness or caged muzzle off the property. For biting history, Pierce has no prior biting. The evidence shows, the paws and nails cause a straight line linear scratches, no teeth punctures in the photos or reports. Dog label relies on unverified claims, but doesn't qualify as a bite under the code. Even if severe, which I know is stitches and cosmetic consultation, but there's no biting risk exists from this animal. Overall, the wellness of the dog, just doing some research on my own and looking at the facts, muzzles can cause significant stress on the dog. This is a family animal. We have infant in the house. We have no concerns with anything with the infant in the house, with the dog. And so I'm concerned that it could add stress and undue hardship on an animal that has no biting history at all. It limits natural behaviors like panting and drinking or just exploring. If you have taking dogs for walks, which we do in the family, it can be seen, as, oh, this dog's aggressive or dangerous, just for the stigmatism from the public looking at that, saying, oh, that we have to stay away from this dog. Could socially isolate the dog as well. And the dog's in a very, very good animal. Again, no prior bites or anything like this. I already used secure leash. I've actually keep them, like I said, inside the house, in the crate when we're not home, and then we use the deck on the back of the house to keep them there. So I'm asking to waive the muzzle and keep the leash harness for when we take them on any types of walks. And we have a harness, not just a leash. So we have a whole body harness that goes onto the animal, not just around the collar area of the dog. And then for argument number 9, secure home barriers. This was not a runaway from outdoor, runaway from indoor. The dog did not bolt from any door inside the house. Again, we crate the dog when we're unattended. I keep very strict supervision of this dog and all my animals. Like, I've changed our whole way we do everything. The dogs do not play outside in the front yard at all. That has ceased. We've changed that. I've actually expressed that several times to Officer Herbert, that we've changed our whole process. I mean, I have 7 to 8 people living in this house with me, and all of which have changed our whole regime and setup of how we do things. No incidents since the implementation. I think which targets the real issue without overreach, so to speak. As Officer Herbert said, I've showed the house. She's walked through the house. She's done a look at the property. So I'm requesting the waiving of item number 9 for secondary home barriers, as this occurred when it was outside and the dog was playing. And I don't think that having additional barriers indoors would have stopped this from occurring to begin with. I just want to thank you for your time and consideration. I acknowledge that the victim's injuries, I mean, understand there's hospital visits, stitches, the scar revision proposals, things like that the victim is undertaken, but the facts show that the incident was not aggression. Again, no growling, no barking at the individual, no bite. It was just a unfortunate mishap. My changes have ensured safety for over 7 months, aligning with the code's goal of public protection without excess. Lifting items 3, 4, and 9 promotes fairness, avoids undue hardship on Pierce and my family, and prevents stigmatizing a good dog. I'm open to questions, more, for alternatives or anything like that, if so needed. Thank you.
Hey, Jackie, real quick. The victim, Ms. Kirby, joined and would like to speak. If I could swear her in really quick.
Thank you. Yes, please.
Ms. Kirby, if you could please unmute yourself and raise your right hand for me. Do you swear and affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Kirby, for joining us this morning. If you want to go ahead and say what you have to say, please.
Okay. So I have seen Pierce once or twice since the incident, but mostly I haven't seen the dog, so I'm not disputing that. Where I have a bit of an issue is saying that the dog did not bite my face. Mr. Augustin never saw my wounds that day. Mr. Augustin was not present. So I'm not really sure what gives him the qualification to say that it was a scratch, not a bite, as my medical records, a medical doctor did say that it was a dog bite. And I was also present and the dog bit my face. So I'm taking a little bit of an issue with that. I did have to get stitches. I don't think that a medical doctor would have given me a series of rabies shots if it was not a dog bite. So I do dispute that. What happens in his home, as long as the dog doesn't come outside, I don't really care. I think if the dog is outside, a muzzle wouldn't be the worst idea, but again, fine. But I do want it stated for the record that the dog absolutely bit my face and did not scratch my face. So I was there for the incident, unlike Mr. Augustin. So I can testify to that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to remind everyone that the commission did hear the original case on running at large, and the incident that we've been talking about. And we did rule to uphold all the citations. So now we're back to talking with Mr. Augustine about his appealing numbers 3, 4, and 9. Does anybody have any questions first for Ms. Kirby? If not, we'll go back to Mr. Augustine. Thank you very much, Ms. Kirby. Appreciate that. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Augustine? Dr. Hemmer, could you address his concerns about the muzzle, please?
Yeah, I certainly think that Mr. Augustine has got a valid concern, but I don't think it's reasonable. Dogs are very adaptive beasts, and certainly if he starts wearing the muzzle on a regular basis, as long as it's an appropriate sized muzzle and it's an appropriate muzzle, the dog with time will become accustomed to it and will have no problems at all performing normal physiologic functions, eating and drinking while he's wearing the muzzle. The muzzle's not a 24/7 proposition. It's just when the dog is out in public 2 or 3 times a day, for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, however long he's gonna walk the dog. Should be able to pant, drink water, exchange heat. I've got no concerns with this dog adapting to the muzzle given enough time. Sure, the dog's going to be stressed and the dog's going to be uncomfortable when it's initially put on, but that's no different from, quite frankly, us as humans. We do something new, it's going to be uncomfortable for a period of time, but then once we acclimate to it, it's no big deal. That's how I see the muzzle.
Thank you, sir. Does
Am I-
anybody have other, I'm sorry, sir, go ahead.
So, so if it was a bite, and again, I understand what is being stated by the victim, is that my daughters were there and my daughters gave statements. My daughters are right there. There was my two daughters and herself. They witnessed the whole thing. So I understand it's he said, she said, but the lacerations, they're lacerations. They're not puncture wounds.
Mr. Augustine,
But
sir,
I'm
excuse
going
me,
to my argument.
sir,
The reason,
sir, please stop for a moment. We have already ruled previously on the incident itself. So the reason we are together today is to talk about the PDO and the items that you're appealing.
correct. And the muzzles for biting. That's the only reason. And if it was not a bite, then it was a severe injury to the paws.
Sir,
That's
we've
it.
already ruled on that. So again, we're going to talk about 3, 4, and 9. And I understand that you are not sure that it was a bite or a scratch, but the issue is still at hand, whether or not he needs to wear a muzzle when out
Okay.
under the
Understood.
PDO. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Augustine? Officer Herbert, do you feel that the deck and the interior doors are sufficient to meet the PDO?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. So we're really just talking now about the muzzle.
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody have any questions, comments before we go to deliberations? If not, then we'll go ahead and go to deliberation, and we will be deliberating only on whether or not the dog needs to wear the muzzle. Thank you. Dr. Hammer, thank you very much for addressing the muzzle. Is there anything else you would like to add to this today?
Well, my thoughts are, as Mr. Augustine said, there have been no incidents, and there have been no incidents since the February episode because the PDO is in place and it's working. Yeah, that's kind of how I see it. But with that said, we need to be reasonable here. I genuinely think Mr. Augustine is trying to make a conscious effort as a good neighbor, good citizen, and responsible pet owner. So I'm looking at this more from what can we be reasonable? And I think, the internal barriers and the deck that we were talking about, if Officer Herbert's okay with that, I'm okay with that. And the issue boils down to exactly what you said, Jackie. Do we or don't we have this pet on a muzzle when he's outside? And I just, based on what the victim said, the medical notes that, the physician is stating it is in fact a bite wound. I think we need to keep the muzzle in place, and we need to keep it in place because we don't want any more incidents like this, accidental or not, happening again. Because if it does happen again, it's going to be much more detrimental to this dog's outcome than I think Mr. Augustine really appreciates. So a little bit wordy, I apologize, but those are my thoughts.
Thank you very much. Mr. Fuentes, do you have any comments? And welcome to our group.
Thank you. Just covering for Tom today.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
wasn't there for the February case, but I think I heard enough that I do and looked at the evidence, and I did see that someone got hurt. We don't want that to happen again. And as a representative of Anne Arundel County Health Department, my priority is public safety. So I agree with Dr. Hemmer saying that we should keep enforcing the muzzle because that could prevent, even if it was a one-time event, ongoing, it could happen again. In a flash of an eye, incident could happen, accident. And I just feel like a muzzle could still prevent another incident from happening. And all the other stuff I'm okay with. They can be appealed, and not enforced, like the secondary barriers and fencing. But the muzzle, I think we should keep.
Thank you. Lieutenant McGrath, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good,
All right,
thank
so
you.
we're throwing out the privacy fence, harness, coupler, and secondary barriers, and keeping the muzzle. Is that what?
Well, we will still have to vote on those, but Animal Services feel that the deck and the interior doors are sufficient.
Okay. I'm good with upholding, keeping the muzzle. So.
Okay, thank you. Nicole?
No, I agree with the rest of the commission members. I do want to note that Mr. Augustin seemed to be forward-leaning and is trying to ensure that this does not happen again. But based upon the fact that once a dog is acclimated to a muzzle, there's no problem. I would vote to uphold the portion of the PDO number 4 for a muzzle.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll split this up into a couple of different issues. Could I have a motion on number 3 and number 9, meaning that since Animal Services feels that the deck is sufficient to replace the full fencing of the yard and that the interior doors are sufficient to replace the secondary barrier?
I make a motion to remove from the PDO 3 and 9 based upon the expertise of Animal Services.
Thank you.
I second, Nicole.
Thank you. All those in favor, please. And that's unanimous. Thank you. And then a second motion, please, on number 4 regarding the muzzle.
I make a motion that we uphold the muzzle as written in the PDO.
Thank you. Second. Can I have a second, please?
I'll second
it.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor of upholding the muzzle? Thank you, and that's unanimous as well. And Autumn, I guess we're ready to go on to the second case, please.
If you are a participant in the Griffin versus Fleming case, please use the raise hand function. I do have Miss Griffin here, so she's just going to use my computer, and I'm just going to stand off to the side. Miss Fleming, Althea, I can't get her to unmute, turn her camera on. I feel like it'd be okay to move forward, and then if she can get her camera on, I can swear her in if needed. That's completely up to you.
Well, she is going to, I'll text her, find out what's going on, because she is someone who would need to testify. So.
Okay, perfect.
She says she's on watching, but hold on.
There we go.
I apologize. I am not very Zoom savvy. I was sitting here watching, just wondering why you couldn't hear me. Sorry.
And then if you could just raise your right hand for me, please.
Sure.
If you do swear affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
And then state your name. And then Jackie, just to refresh your memory, Rebecca and Miss Griffin are the complainants. And then Kelly and Robin Fleming, Althea and Miss Martin, they are all for the owner of the animal.
Thank you very much. And also a reminder that this case was postponed from last month due to technical issues. It seemed to be, if I remember correctly, more our end. So welcome everybody this morning. Thank you very much for being here. We will start with Miss Griffin. Is that correct? Yep, Miss Griffin.
Yes,
You'll explain to us the situation that occurred.
Yes, well, I have Rebecca walking my 2 dogs, Opal and Max. She walks Opal from 10 to 10:30, and then she brings Opal back, and then she walks Max from 10:30 to 11. And she's been walking them now very close to a year or more. And on that particular day, July 15th, 2025, she took Opal and they went for their walk, but she came back early. And she said, I got some bad news for you. And I said, what? And she said, Opal was attacked by a pit bull. And I said, oh my God, I'm in a panic because for almost a year they've been walking and there's been no problem. And this date, July 15th, she comes Tuesday, July 15th at 10:20. She comes back early with Opal and she says she's been attacked. So I say, okay. I get down, I'm looking at my dog and I'm trying to, see if she's bleeding or, what's going on. But I'm in a panic and I'm upset. And because how did it happen? I'm asking her. And she said a dog came running out of the garage on Bastille Place and ran down where we were. And we weren't even in front of their house and attacked her. And then eventually two people came out and pulled the dog off my dog. So I'm like, oh my God. And so I'm looking at her, where's, she said that the dog was scratching her and I see that her mouth looks swollen. I don't know if the dog bit her in the mouth, I don't know. And then her left eye looks red. So I don't know if the dog teeth went in her eye. All I know is that what was a nice, quiet half an hour walk for her was a panic situation when she came back. And then after that, I took her to the vet. And, of course, the vet gave her rabies shots and, examined her. I'm not well myself. I have medical problems. So I was like, how am I going to take care of my dog? Well, so the next day I called the vet back on the 16th and I said, look, her eye looks red. I didn't even see that the first day. So I'm like, I wanted to take her back, but like I said, 2 weeks, I just had thyroid surgery myself. So I got all kinds of medical issues going on. And now I got a dog that was attacked by a pit bull. So now I'm just very upset. And it's like it's the worst thing that could possibly happen at the worst possible time for this to happen.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Griffin, how is Opal and what did the vet determine pertaining specifically to this attack? And we will have Rebecca, your dog walker, actually talk about the attack itself or the incident itself. But how is Opal and what did the vet determine in regards to this situation?
Yes, well, she gave me medication and for Opal's anxiety because she hasn't been the same dog since this happened. And I have the medication with me. I can't pronounce what this.
I got it up here for you already.
Oh, okay. Thank you. It's
Gabapentin.
Yes, gabapentin.
Is it gabapentin?
Yes.
Okay.
And she was this morning because I give her a vitamin and a pain tablet when she lays her head on my knee, and so today she looked better than she's looked,
Good.
especially after this incident.
Thank you, ma'am. Do any of the commission members have any questions for Ms. Griffin? Thank you. Then let's hear from Rebecca Resnick, the dog walker who actually was walking the dog at the time that the incident occurred.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me. Yes, I do walk Opal and Max. They're sweet dogs. They do not go after other dogs. I just want to make that clear. They're not they do not do that. They might want to go and play, but as a dog walker, I keep anytime I walk dogs, I keep them away from other dogs, just for safety reasons. I do walk her for 30 minutes. I have walked that stretch of Bastille Place numerous times. On this particular day, it was just like any other day. I come from Champlain, come around the corner, and she's just sniffing, doing her usual business, sniffing, peeing, I get to like the border right where their house is and the house next door, and all of a sudden I see this big dog come barreling out of the garage towards Opal. And all I'm thinking is I need to get this dog away from her. I start pulling her, and I'm doing like a zigzag motion because every time I pull away, the dog comes right after. There were two people outside the garage, doing whatever you're doing to your house, not being nosy. And they came running, and it took me from one side of their property to the other, zigzagging, because the dog would not get away from Opal at all to pull him off. He kept trying to bite, kept trying to scratch. I had like Opal between my legs, and she was visibly shaken from it. And every time I would pull one direction to try to get away, he would come from that direction. Then I would pull again. And by the time I got to the next house over, they were able to restrain the dog and pull him out. But the dog came straight from the garage door, just came bolting out.
Ms. Resnick, I just want to be clear that you were not injured in this incident. Is that correct?
Yes, I was not injured.
Okay, thank you very much. Do any of the commission members have any questions for Ms. Resnick? In that case, Ms. Fleming, you are here on your citation for a public safety threat. So would you like to address that, please? And be sure to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So my dog did not leave my property. He was laying in front of the garage while my sister and I were working inside the garage, which he does very often. At this particular time, the dog walker and her dog were walking up to the corner of our house, and we saw her stop, but we weren't quite sure why she stopped because Omar was just standing there with us. And so then she continued to walk a little bit towards the middle of our yard. And then Omar walked down to the driveway. And my sister was literally standing right there behind Omar. And Omar went over to the dog and they began to sniff. It was like no big deal. And then all of a sudden the dog walker started to pull on her leash and was pulling the dog backward. And then that's when, I don't know if it was probably Omar, or I don't know if it was her dog that growled. But then my sister immediately grabbed Omar on his collar and sat him down on the ground. At this particular time, I'm still watching because I didn't think it was like there was no interaction. So I didn't think it was a big deal for me to need to go down there. For some reason, the dog walker continued just to stand there while her dog was like wrapped around her legs. So I'm assuming it's because she couldn't walk because the dogs were wrapped around her legs. There was no really interaction or anything. We didn't say anything. And then after I came and got Omar and walked him back up to the driveway was when the dog walker continued to walk away. I was going to go say something to her, but then I noticed that she happened to have a book in her hand and she was writing down our address. So then I was at that point, I was like, you know what? She's probably going to, she seems like she's going to call a complaint. I'm just going to leave this alone and I'm just going to walk back away. Then, a couple hours later, we get the call from animal control. They come down and they check on Omar. And all they do is they say that he needs to be licensed with the county, which I admit wasn't done. And that I thought was going to be the end of it. And then next thing you know, I get a vet bill saying that Omar bit her dog and that she wants me to pay for a vet bill. And then she files this claim against me about my dog being vicious. We have made sure that ever since then, like Omar, we make sure that he's always on a leash when he goes out, not just hanging out with us. But he's never had he's never had an interaction with any other dogs. We have dogs next door that he barely even pays attention to. He's 10 years old and he's overweight. Him running anywhere, which my clients can testify is pretty radical. So I just feel that, in my opinion, and I'm not putting any blame or anything on anybody, I understand that this was a traumatic experience. But in my belief, I think that the dog walker was just afraid because my dog is big and intimidating. And she just made the assumption that because he was a pit bull that he was going to attack her, and made all these gestures with her dog, which weren't, that made the situation confrontational. But my dog was not confrontational. He did not leave my property, which Miss Griffith basically posted on her court date or on her court claims against me that Opal was nowhere near her property, nowhere near my property, and that my dog ran and attacked her dog. She's saying that my dog almost killed her dog, but I don't see any evidence of any puncture wounds, no scratches, no abrasions from her vet bill. And also her vet bill states that she hadn't taken the vet till before 2023. So her dog was due the rabies shot regardless. So I believe that this is a claim for them trying to meet me to how to pay her vet bill.
Thank you, Ms. Fleming. Do any of the commission members have any questions for Ms. Fleming? All right, so Ms. Fleming, you have several people with you. Who would you like to have speak first?
First, my sister, because she was the actual witness with me. She was the one that went down and was first with Omar and had the first interaction with the dog walker.
Okay, thank you. And your sister is?
Kelly.
Kelly. So, Mrs. Fleming II, would you please unmute yourself and tell us about the incident?
Okay, hello, I'm Kelly Fleming. I'm at 7 morning of the incident. I was in the garage. Omar was sitting at the edge of the garage in the driveway. I saw him stand up. I turned around and looked at him, and went out to see what he was looking at. And I saw him walk down to the edge of the yard, and I followed him down there. And the woman was standing there with her dog, right past the corner of the property. But she was standing there holding the dog, so that the dog's front paws couldn't hit the ground. So it was obvious that she didn't have control over her dog. Omar he may have been growling. There were growling sounds, but there were no teeth. There were no lunging. There was no contact between the animals whatsoever. And I grabbed him by the collar. He's heavy. He's a 90-pound dog. So I couldn't pull him. So I just sat down on the ground with him so that the woman could pass, and just waited patiently for her to keep going with the dog. But I at no time was afraid that Omar would bite or scratch either the dog walker or myself. And like I said, once I had him sitting on the ground, he wasn't pulling. He's just big. He's heavy. So that's my recollection. And like I said, that's the most important thing that I want to emphasize, is that there was no contact that I saw between the dogs, and my eyes were on Omar the whole time.
Thank you, ma'am. Do any of the commission members have any questions for Kelly Fleming?
Yeah, I do,
Yes, sir.
Jackie. Yeah.
Yes, sir, Dr. Hammer.
I guess, Ms. Fleming, what I'm having a tough time trying to spatially put together in my mind is the comment that Rebecca made, that she goes out of her way to make sure she avoids any dog she sees, and that this occurred off property. I'm just having a tough time. Is it your assertion that all this happened on the Fleming property and that none of it was in a public thoroughfare or someone else's property?
It was on the sidewalk.
It was on the sidewalk, so it was off your property.
At the time when she came up closer and Omar went to go sniff her dog, yes, it was on the sidewalk.
Very good. Thank you for that clarification. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hammer. In that case, Ms. Fleming, you have some other people with you. Who would you like to have speak next?
So the next person I would like to have is Alethea Eigel, and this is just to bring a little history into the situation. And about that is last spring, I was walking, me and Lissa, my best friend, happened to be visiting me, and we were walking Omar around our normal walk. And we passed Miss Griffin's house, and her two dogs happened to come across the street and surrounded us. Opal, the dark dog, happened to be the one that was more aggressive. The only point that I'm trying to bring this up is the fact that it's like my dog and Opal happened to have a little bit of, like, had some, reaction in the past, and it was not violent. It was not, basically Opal and my dog just sniffed each other, and then my best friend had to go and help the woman that was with the dogs walk the dogs back across the street because they had no control over the two dogs.
Okay, Ms. Fleming, thank you for explaining that. And I understand the history, but we are talking about this specific incident that happened. So I appreciate your other folks being here. If they have anything additional to add regarding this particular incident with Ms. Griffin's dog, then we'd love to hear it. Otherwise, I understand the history, but it really doesn't pertain to today's incident.
Okay, I was just bringing it up because you had mentioned that sometimes history, we can bring up the history. And I was just making it a fact that Omar wasn't vicious with that dog at that time.
Okay.
And so there was no reason for Omar to be vicious with her dog at this time either.
Okay, thank you. Do your other people with you have anything else to add regarding this incident?
Not regarding the incident, but regarding Omar's character.
Okay. Commission members, do you have any other questions for Ms. Fleming, or would you like to go ahead and hear from the other people who were not involved with this particular incident? Feedback, please. Dr. Hammer.
Yeah, I have no problems making sure everybody has an opportunity to say what they need to say. But with that said, your admonishment that we want to focus on the incident at hand to keep things moving along is very appropriate. So as long as the other people, the other witnesses have something that's going to add some flavor or color to the incident that occurred, I would like to hear them. If it's just going to be historical precepts, I don't know that that's going to add any value to our discussion here today.
Thank you very much. All right, so Ms. Fleming, if you will introduce the next person that you would like to have speak regarding this incident, or if you have somebody who wants to speak to Omar's character, that would be fine.
It is completely up to Nikki if she wishes to speak, but it's not necessary.
Okay. Nikki, would you like to speak? We appreciate you being here this morning.
Thanks. I would, just to the extent that the first thing is I don't see this dog regularly, but I have seen him on numerous occasions. When Robin asked me if I could be present and told me what the accusation was, I was astounded because I can't even imagine this dog running maybe 5 years ago. But he is overweight, is not that he's massive. I've only ever seen him amble at best. And that was from the first time that I met him. And I'm very cautious of dogs. I'm a previous pit owner. If I don't know a pit, I'm extremely cautious of him, and he is a big dog. So the first time that I met him, he ambled up, sniffed my hand, went about his business. I've seen him reacting to the dogs that are next to the Flemings. One of them appears to be a pit mix, but his reaction is to lift his head and lay back on the floor. He's very non-reactant. And I also, this is not relevant to Omar's past, but I, as a pit owner, and I had a very gentle pit, I also encountered a pit attack. So I had another pit attack my pit, and mine was on a leash, the other was not. So we let mine off of the leash in order to hopefully try to defend himself. And because he just wasn't a fighter, he did. And all he managed was one bite, but he's a pit bull. And if you have experience with dogs, that one bite split this other dog's ear in half. And that was just him defending himself, not actually fighting this dog. So a bite or a puncture from a pit, and my pit was half the size of Omar, literally, is pretty significant. And I'm not detracting from whatever Rebecca experienced, but the actual incident with a pit bull against any other dog, I would imagine there would be a lot of, it would make an impact physically.
Thank you very much. I hope your dog is all right.
Thank you. He's passed, but I appreciate
Oh,
it.
sorry. Thank you. Does any of the commission members have any questions for this witness? If not, I would like to go back to Rebecca Rasnick, please, for just a moment. Rebecca, will you unmute? Good, thank you. Can you clarify for us, please, where you were when this incident occurred?
Can I please make a statement first?
Certainly.
I have walked and watched over pit bulls before. And I have experience with pit bulls. Okay. I have walked like 150-pound, like an American bully pit bull, and he was the sweetest thing. So I have nothing against pit bulls. I would never have gone up to her house if I saw a dog.
Thank you.
I would have looked up, saw the dog, and go, okay, Opal, cross the street. Opal is not aggressive. She will bark because dogs can't communicate. That's how they communicate. But she will go up and she'll wag her tail. She will not growl. She will bark because she wants to play. That's how Opal is. And for where I was on the house, I was on the sidewalk on the border between the house on the corner where Bastille meets Champlain. And there's like a little electrical box there. Like if you go to like a map to her house, there's her house, and then there's like an electrical box to the house if you're facing the house to the right. I had full control. I did not just randomly stop. Opal was sniffing that electrical box. I have gone down the street numerous times. She has stopped at that electrical box numerous times because a lot of dogs pee on that. And so she has stopped. I never once lifted her paws off the ground. So I had full control. She wasn't alert to any other dog around. She'll prick her ears up, look up, and she'll start wagging her tail. And she never did any of that. I did not even have a notebook. How I got the address was I had to drive past the house, write the address down. All I could tell you was the house color and that it was on Bastille Place. So I did not have a notebook at all. I would never have brought Opal up to her house, period. If there was a dog, I would never have let her sniff because as my responsibility, taking care of your dog, I don't know if your dog has gotten all its shots. I don't know if your dog's aggressive. I don't know anything about your dog. I don't know anything about you or any of that. So in safety of my client's dog, I actively get away from them. I'll turn around, go the opposite direction, go across the street, get away. So I would never have done that.
Thank you,
Never.
Ms. Rice. I just want to clarify where you and Opal actually were.
Okay. We were on the sidewalk.
On the sidewalk. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I do not go on other people's grass. I even try to make sure that maybe six inches to a foot onto the physical property. Like I don't let them go any further than that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do the commission members have any questions for any of our attendees today? If not, then we will go to deliberations, and we are deliberating on the public safety threat citation. Thank you, everyone, for being here this morning.
Give me 1 second, Jackie, to make sure I have everyone switch back over.
Okay.
Okay, we're good to go.
Okay, thank you. So we are deliberating on just a public safety threat. There was no at-large citation issued here. So, Dr. Hemmer, comments, please.
Yeah, it's a lot. Once again, a lot to take in, and I'm still, especially after Rebecca made her statement at the end, I'm still having some spatial problems with the geography of where all this happened. It probably happened on public property, probably on no one's private land. Um, and since we're not dealing with an at-large issue, that's in my mind has probably become moot at this juncture as to where it happened. The question is really, public safety threat. I've been looking over the medical notes from VCA for Opal for that day, and I'm just having a hard time recognizing that that's any kind of injury at all, to be very frank with the commission.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is I'm hearing a he said, she said, and it's my mind to go ahead and dismiss the citation because I don't have any firm evidence one way or the other that there was a public threat here. And those are my thoughts.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I noticed the same thing reviewing the medical report. I don't see anything that would pertain to an attack or an injury. There are other things, but not caused by an injury, I think. What does gabapentin normally prescribe for a dog for?
Both the indications that are there, pain and anxiety. It's used as an add-on med to help manage pain, particularly neuropathic pain, and it's gotten some more robust use in the profession dealing with behavioral issues. It's not the best drug for anxiety, but it does in fact help. Because we're just still, even though the behavioral medicine's been around for 10 years now, we're still kind of fine-tuning and getting some of the nuances of what medications work in what situations and what individuals. But in my hands, I'm generally using gabapentin to help in some kind of protocol for anxiety, like an office visit anxiety, or as an add-on to top off pain meds if I'm not getting adequate pain control with my initial pharmacological regimen. So
Interesting, thank you. Mr. Fuentes, your comments, please.
I'm gonna have to agree with Dr. Hemmer. I was also looking at the medical report and all the evidence that was submitted. I don't actually see a lot of evidence that supports. So it's a lot of he said, she said here, but no animal was damaged, no animal was harmed, at least according to the medical report. And I don't see a lot of public safety here. So I would have to agree. I don't see anything that would uphold these citations or anything.
Thank you. Lieutenant McGrath.
I can't see the medical notes, but I can see the pictures, and I see a lot of blood on the dog's paw. So I don't know if the notes
I think
say something
that's
about
another
that.
case.
Is that another case?
Yeah, I believe that's the case we still have outstanding.
Okay.
The
I thought I
other,
was in the correct folder. Sorry about that.
yeah, the other one, Griffin and Fleming, there is a veterinary report. But as Dr. Hemmer said, there really doesn't seem to be anything in there pertaining to an attack or an injury from an
Okay.
attack.
Then I would agree to dismiss it.
Thank you. Nicole?
Yeah, I really wish there was some sort of video evidence for this because I do believe that Rebecca is a professional. I do not believe she would walk that dog right into an area where there is a rather large, doesn't matter how mobile, she didn't know that she would walk that dog right up. But the citation is not for any injuries. It's for approaching in a lawfully restrained domesticated animal in an aggressive manner. Now, I did hear some hints from the Fleming side about, oh, maybe Omar growled. So I do believe that happened. But again, absent any video evidence of how Omar approached or where he approached, I just don't, I can't vote to uphold the citation.
Thank you. May I have a motion, please, on the citation noted on the agenda?
I'd like to just make one comment too.
Yes, sir.
So they just did the arithmetic. Opal's not a small dog either. At first, I was thinking this was a typical big dog, little dog. Opal's a 70-pound dog. Okay.
Oh my
So
goodness.
she's 31 kilos. And that's a 70-pound dog. So don't be thinking poorly like I was that this was a big dog, little dog interaction. Opal was a big dog too. 31 kilos, good size. So just be aware. But with that, I make a motion before the commission that we dismiss the public safety threat citation ending in 2963.
Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you. All those in favor of dismissing the citation? Thank you. And thank you, Dr. Hammer, for bringing the weight to our attention. And that will remind me that we need to clarify what size dogs we're talking about. Thank you very much. So that was a unanimous vote to not uphold the citation. So
Thank
we
you,
are
Autumn,
ready for
and
the
thank you
final
everyone
case
for being here
today.
this
morning. We will start with Mrs. Troity, if you will please explain why you took the citations.
Sure. As you know, I have multiple citations against this dog. The incident occurred on August the 9th while we were walking. We were walking our roads, walking our dogs down Mayo Road on the opposite side of the street of where this dog lived. At the time that morning, I have a Chihuahua. She's a Chihuahua. She's noisy. She was not noisy that morning. As we were walking down the road, the dog that I filed against was in his backyard or her backyard. Legs were up on the 4-foot chain link fence and it was barking. We got 2 houses down, so across the street, catty corner, and my husband yelled, "It's coming." He was able to pick up his dog. I could not pick up my dog at the time. And I ended up suspending her by her harness in the air and was attempting to keep her away from this dog that was running at us, barking and growling. Because she was up in the air, that dog was able to grab her back legs and were nipping at her as I was spinning Lady through the air. At that point in time, obviously a lot of adrenaline was going on. We were screaming no, we were screaming stop. The dog continued. My husband ended up using his long legs and pushing the dog away. At the same time, I did pepper spray this Rottweiler on her head, which I guess the combination finally of the spray, which I did not spray in her eyes because I didn't want that to affect her. I just wanted her to stop. We were able to get on the other side of a trailer that's parked on the opposite side of the road and get ourselves together. We ran home with our dogs. I got her in the sink. I washed both of her back legs that were bleeding and noted the puncture wounds and abrasions. Called animal control. All of this occurred within like 10 minutes of the event. And we went back up. I knocked on the door and a minor answered the door. I said I needed proof of rabies for the dog because it had bitten my dog. At this point in time, the dog was now in the house. So someone had let it back into the house. The boy turned around, said she needs proof of rabies. A female's voice yelled, "Who is she?" And then finally the woman who identified herself as Noelle came to the door. And I said, "Your dog bit mine. I do need proof of rabies." She proceeded to tell me her dog doesn't bite. And I said, "Well, it just did." And they weren't able, she went back inside. They weren't able to find the actual certificate for proof of rabies, but they did present the collar to me to show that the dog has a rabies vaccine. We came home, and as we were leaving the address of where the dog lives, I asked the next door neighbors who have a Ring camera if they had video. They did not. At that time, I saw animal control drive to the bottom of the road, so we came back home to talk to animal control. And at that point, we then took the dog to the emergency vet for the wounds, and we were given gabapentin for her pain. She was not able to walk on her back legs for 3 days. So we didn't get x-rays, unfortunately, but we did deal with the wounds. The dog got out of the backyard, was not restrained. Our dogs were restrained. It crossed the street onto the other sidewalk. It was a threat to us. It was a threat to our dogs. It caused injury to our dogs. So this is why I'm filing all these complaints. I did go back to the house. This all occurred on the 9th. I did go back to the house on the 13th with the vet bill, presented it to Ms. Fullerton. We said, we'll take payments. You don't have to pay the full amount. If you're not able to, we would take payments. She said, okay. She went back into her house to get a pen, and then a male came out to then discuss the vet bill, because I'm not sure the association with him and the dog. Don't know if he lives there, but he said that this is the first time he's heard about it. He wanted to see my dog. I said, sir, this has been 4 days post-injury. Here are the pictures. He then agreed to bring money starting that Friday, so 2 days after. So the 9th was the incident, the 13th was the agreement to pay the vet bill, and the 15th would have been the day they made payments. We did not receive any payments, so I went ahead and filed the complaints.
Thank you, Mrs. Troy Day. Is that Troy D? Thank you.
Yeah.
So Autumn right now is showing Mrs. Troy D's evidence, the pictures that she submitted. Mr. Troy, do you have something to add?
Truthfully, we were walking on the opposite side of the street. I saw the dog get up onto the fence with its front legs. Then I saw it leap the fence. I grabbed our Jack Russell and I yelled to my wife, and she didn't have time to grab the dog. So unfortunately, our Chihuahua got the worst end of it. And then everything else, called animal control, brought the baby back to the house to see if we could clean her up a little bit. Found an emergency vet that would take us, which took quite a few phone calls. We took her over there. She checked out pretty good considering, 90 pounds versus 10 pounds. And then everything else, contacted the owner, and haven't heard anything since.
Thank you very much. I just want to clarify, the dog that attacked your dog was a Rottweiler? And
It's a large black and brown Rottweiler appearing. I don't know if it's a true Rottweiler, but in appearance, that's what it looks like.
Okay, thank you very much. And what kind of dog is your dog?
She's a Chihuahua Jack Russell mix.
Thank you. And how is she doing? And how is she now?
She is fine now.
Good.
She is walking on her legs. She is agreeable to go back outside for her walks now. I don't take her down that road anymore, which is a shame that we have to avoid a street because of this. But yeah, she does go for her walks.
Okay, thank you very much. Do any of the commission members have questions for either Mr. or Mrs. Troy D? If not, then thank you very much. We will go on to Ms. Fullerton.
Yes.
Thank you. And will you start by describing your dog, please?
I have a black and brown Rottweiler. She's about 85, 90 pounds.
Thank you very much. And is she now licensed with the county?
She's always been licensed with the county.
Okay, thank you. So if you would like to go ahead with your testimony, please.
All of a sudden I have somebody come to my door saying that my dog jumped the fence and bit her dog, but I don't have any proof of that. And her saying that she sprayed pepper spray on my dog, she never told me that. And my dog did not smell like pepper spray. So there's no way that she sprayed pepper spray on my dog. She has no priors of doing anything like this. There's no proof that she caused it because she doesn't have any ring camera footage. And there's 3 rings right in that area. And someone is home all day. She's tethered when she's outside, following Animal County rules. And we plan on getting a taller fence because of what they're saying. So, but that's going to take 4 to 6 weeks for them to make it. And everyone else says she's a big baby, that everybody says she's a good girl, and she plays with her brothers, that we call them brothers, because we have a husky and a pit bull that she plays with. So she's not aggressive to them. So I have no clue where they say that she was the aggressor. If their dogs were growling, I don't know, but she's not an aggressive dog. And gabapentin does not tell me that there's anything, any type of injury to the dog. And the pictures that are shown show red. It doesn't show any puncture wounds. It doesn't show anything. So
Thank
I
you,
don't,
Ms. Ho-
and that's about it. That's all I can think of right now.
Thank you. Do any of the commission members have any questions for Ms. Fullerton?
I do, Jackie.
Yes, Dr. Hammer.
So, it is correct for me to assume that your dog does in fact jump the fence on a regular basis?
No, she doesn't.
She
She has
does.
jumped the fence, yes, and gotten out because she pulled the stake out of the ground that she's tethered on. So we found different ways to try to keep her restrained when she's outside, so she stops jumping the fence, because she wants to go down 2 houses down and visit the dog in the house in the backyard there. We call them Spuds, and they just talk back and forth all day long.
Okay, all right. And then did Miss Troy Day provide you with any medical records
Yeah, she
or
showed me
or an
a vet
invoicing?
bill that said gabapentin, and that's
Okay,
all that was done. And it says doctor visit and gabapentin. Doesn't
okay,
say any type of x-rays, any type of anything else was given except a gabapentin, which the dog could take every single day of their life, because I work in a
okay,
pharmacy, so I know.
okay, all right. And if you don't mind me asking, how much was that bill for that she presented to you?
I think it was $249.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions for Ms. Fullerton? Autumn, could you clarify for us, please, whether or not her dog is licensed with the county?
Yes, the dog is current with its licensing until 2026 of January.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, yes, no, sorry.
Mhm.
She's licensed.
Thank you. Does anyone else have anything to add or to ask?
Yeah, and maybe this is a question for Autumn. There was some screen sharing going on during the testimony of Miss Troy Day, and there was something that popped up, like a Glen Burnie patch kind of thing,
Yes.
saying quit jump. Who posted that or who provided that? Did that come from your office? Did that come from
So
Ms.
that's
Fuller?
it's Ms. Troy's evidence. That's Ms. Fullerton posting on Facebook.
Okay.
So just to this one is.
Yeah, she searched my Facebook.
So this one is from September 14th of this year, where she states that Bree broke the railing on the deck. This is on Facebook.
Not what I said.
This is another Facebook post asking
Okay.
to dog chain, and then this is the one where she says that the dog can jump the fence.
Okay. Okay. And there is no medical record or invoicing from any veterinary professional regarding Miss Trudeau's dog's injuries, correct?
I have them here.
Yeah, it's the same, unless, so that's the one that I
That's
don't
it.
have. I don't have that part. Okay.
I can't read that.
If you want to hold it back up, Ms. Troy, I was able to read it if you want me to read it out loud. Ms. Troy, if you
There
would
we
say
go.
something. Yeah.
You want me to read it?
No, I got it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was
No,
gonna say the
I have
same
no
thing.
additional
All I had was-
questions.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions for any of the parties concerned? In that case, then we'll go to deliberations. Thank you, everyone, for being here this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Hammer, your comments and thoughts, please.
Thank you very much. So just a couple of thoughts here. Yeah, a lot to digest here, but it's almost going back to the previous case. There's definitely some injury here. It doesn't seem to be significant, but obviously there was something happened, or there wouldn't be any blood. I'm having a tough time with any of the citations that mention aggression, because I didn't get that sense from the testimony that this was the dog approached the Trude dog in a manner of aggression. That's my understanding from the testimony, and with that, based on the Facebook post or the Glen Burnie Patch post, wherever it is post that we saw, I think it's reasonable to assume this dog does in fact jump the fence and jumps the fence on a regular basis. So I think supporting citations set ending in 7512 as a public nuisance makes sense. I think supporting citation 7214 running at large makes sense. And I think supporting citation ending in 7126 makes sense. I would ask the commission to consider dropping ending 7513, 7515, because I don't see, I'm having a hard time with the aggressive component based on the testimony I've heard. And those are just my thoughts. So those are my thoughts. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Hammer. Nicole, your thoughts, please.
Yeah, I see where Dr. Hammer is coming from, but I feel like if the dog wasn't aggressive, it wouldn't have caused the injury. So that's where I'm struggling, but obviously would like to hear what everybody else is saying. I believe that the dog is a nuisance, and seems like the tether is being used. And I know she stated in accordance with the law, but I really hope that's occurring in accordance with the law. So yeah, I mean, I could uphold all of them.
Thank you. Lieutenant McGrath?
I couldn't read the note. What did it say exactly? Did it say that the injury was caused by another dog, or?
Oh, you mean the medical note?
Yeah, the medical notes.
Dr. Hammer, could you explain that,
I think
please?
you read them.
Yeah, the medical note is far better than the one that we saw in the previous case, and it did allude to the fact that there was an injury from another dog. And I feel comfortable that that note is consistent with a dog bite injury more so than the other one, and there's physical evidence to support the documentation in the medical note that we saw.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Fuentes?
I'm kind of like very similar answer to Nicole. I can see a little bit of everything, not enough to be just black and white, but I really didn't see any accountability from the owner. And so I would want to uphold, if not all the citations, there are some citations I would definitely much in, like running at large, just to have some accountability from the owner. And if you look at the commission's agenda, it says this dog is not licensed as well. So hopefully this citation will cause her to get licensed as well.
The dog is heard on licensing, Greg. That happens since then. I just I usually leave it, and then by the time this comes up, I let it be known if they've licensed since then or not. So they are licensed now.
All right, appreciate that information. So I would like to at least uphold some of the citations just to have some more accountability from the owner. But some of the I would be lenient on some of the other, like the more aggressive citations, like the aggression, if like Dr. Hammer said.
Thank you very much. So it seems that we should tackle each citation individually, I think, with votes. It sounds like, because there's some varying opinions on them. So on citation ending in 7512, public nuisance, can I have a motion, please?
Motion to uphold.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? This is for citation 7512, public nuisance. And that's unanimous. So moving on to 7513, public safety threat, chases or approaches a person in an aggressive manner. A motion, please? To either uphold it or not.
I make a motion to uphold it.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. And those in favor to uphold 7513, public safety threat. Looks like 3-2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, did I miss that vote? I think I might have had a gap here. What were we voting on?
We're voting on citation ending in 7513, public safety threat.
Okay.
Would you,
I'll
let's
uphold
do
it.
that vote again. We'll take that again. So those in favor of upholding 7513, public safety threat.
Emma,
That's
didn't you second the motion?
Yeah, I second the motion just to keep it moving, but I don't necessarily have to agree with it.
right.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So that's 4 in favor and 1 opposed.
Correct.
Thank you. And then citation 7214, running at large. A motion, please.
I make a motion, we uphold the citation ending in 7214 running at large.
Thank you. Second. Thank you. Those in favor to uphold it?
Mm.
And that's unanimous. Citation 7215, public safety threat, chases or approaches a lawfully restrained domesticated animal in an aggressive manner. A motion, please.
I make a motion to uphold.
Thank you. A second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Those in favor to uphold? And that's 3-2. Thank you.
I didn't see who said, who were the two that were against it?
Mr. Fuentes and Dr. Hemmer.
And then who was the second to motion, Fuentes?
McGrath.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Thank you, Dr. Hemmer. And the last one, 7126, public safety threat, kills or inflicts injury to a domesticated animal. A motion, please.
Motion to
Make a-
uphold.
Thank you.
Seconded.
Thank you. Those in favor? And that is unanimous. So by vote, we are upholding all of the citations. Thank you very much for that. So Autumn, what other business do we have? With minutes?
Yeah, we just need to vote on the meeting minutes.
Okay.
I make a
For,
motion, we accept the September meeting minutes as presented by the Department of Animal Services.
Second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you. Those in favor to accept the minutes from last meeting in September? And that is unanimous. Thank you.
with one abstain
I
because
don't believe-
Fuentes was not,
Correct.
he was not at the last one. So
Oh.
Oh,
that's
that's right. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Yeah.
forward mine.
One
So I apologize.
abstention then.
It's okay.
Do we have any other business?
No, that is it. The only other business is next commission will be the first Monday in November. And then a motion
Thank you
to
all
adjourn.
very much.
Thank you, everybody, for your time this morning. Have a great day.
Yes.
Motion
Thank you.
to adjourn.
Oh, wait,
to adjourn.
you're
Oh,
right. You're
yes.
right.
A motion.
Right.
Thank you. A
I
motion.
second.
Thank you.
Wait, who?
Those in favor to adjourn? Thank you very much for the reminder.
Did you make that motion, Autumn?
Who did that?
That was
Okay.
me.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay.
I
do we have
made
a
the
second?
original. I made the original
You
motion.
did. Okay.
Yeah.
We're good. Okay.
All right. We're
Okay.
good. Everybody have a great week.
Have a great month. See y'all next week.
Thank